my fourth live I've ever done. And one of which has worked out well because the service in my area is down really bad. So if we get bad service ever, or people are saying that they're getting bad service, then we'll reschedule. But welcome to
we'll blame AT&T.
I know.
Well, thank you. So those who are just joining, this is Simone 7, where I ask 7 questions, and we hope to inspire, connect, and of course have a laugh. But you and I have known each other for, I don't know what, 6, 7 years?
I think it's about that. I think it must be. I've met you, it must be about 6 years, I think, 6 years.
And obviously everybody knows who you are, but I'd like to start off before we get to the questions, is like, tell us about your journey to where you are today, because obviously you got discovered a long time ago.
I know.
Share that story, because you didn't just wake up and be, a supermodel. So I think it's interesting to share that.
So I started working as a model when I was 16 years old. So it's been 17 years. I just turned 33. Which is crazy because that means really more than over half of my life now I've been working. I interned at a modeling agency when I was 15 years old. So the year before I actually started working. And I always, as a young girl and as a teenager, wanted to work in the fashion industry. I was always attracted to fashion magazines, any type of information, books I could get on the fashion industry, design, hair and makeup, whatever it was. I was always fascinated by what went into creating these beautiful images that we see. And I'd go to the theatre as a young girl, and instead of actually being front of house, I'd want to be back of house. I was always fascinated by the behind the scenes, what went into making a production, what went into making art. And so I grew up in the countryside. I have no contacts whatsoever in the fashion industry. My parents are as far removed from the fashion industry as they could possibly be. And I basically wrote off to a bunch of different places in London, bearing in mind this is before the internet really started getting going, certainly before YouTube or any type of information on the industry. So I wrote off to all my favorite brands at the time, which were high street brands, and I found any kind of business that was related to fashion. And one of them that replied was a modeling agency in the West End in London. So jumped on a train, went up and did a week of work experience, had a great time, knew I wanted to be in London once I finished my exams. And then that summer I went back to London, and my mum said to me, you have to go into the agency and say hello again, because it's not what you know, it's who you know in fashion.
Great advice, Mummy. Good advice, Mama.
And so basically I went in, and there was a new booker, and she asked if she could take a couple of Polaroids of me. So I said yes, and then she said, listen, I don't really know what's going to happen. We sign girls all the time. It doesn't work out. Let's just see, would you be open to going out and doing a couple of castings and go-sees? And so I said yes, because all I wanted to do was to get on a shoot. That was all I really wanted to do. I wanted to see what went into creating these images. And so that's really where it started. The next couple of days I was on my first test shoot, and I've had, 17 years of many ups and downs. There's been good years, bad years. I definitely came up from the very bottom of the industry and worked my way up, and I pounded the pavement. There was a ton of rejection, and it's just sort of, I suppose, been, a real kind of journey of perseverance and determination, and a little bit of shrewdness that goes along with it. Street smarts, So I feel very, very grateful. I remember very early on, one person saying to me, you've got to save your money, Rosie, because by the time you're 25, you'll be done. So,
I'm 30 and I'm still living.
Yeah, and I feel just very grateful for all the opportunities I've had, and places I've gotten to live and places I've got to visit and the people I've got to meet, and I've been able to really diversify my career and branch into other areas. And so that's been, it's kind of full circle. I've managed to do all the things that I dreamt of doing as a young girl, and I feel very, very, very fortunate.
Well, obviously I get to, work with celebrities all the time, but I have to say that, I consider you my friend, but I also think you are just one of the most beautiful people inside and out.
Oh.
So, you can have such great success, but you are so grounded and down to earth and human, and I appreciate you being on this with me as well. So
thanks, Amy. Love you.
Yay, love you too. All right, let's get into the questions. So the first one is, during these uncertain times, we've talked about it before, how are you practicing self-care and how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I have no complaints. I'm here in LA. I'm with both of my men, one big one and one small one. One's got slightly more hair than the other one. And they're keeping me busy, as they always do. And I'm really lucky that I'm able to do a lot of my work projects from home. So I'm still able to speak to my team on Zoom. I had a lot of projects that were kind of in the works anyway, and so I'm able to really be focused on those. And any of my work that I would have done at this time, any kind of stuff where I would have been physically there, is just being put on pause, and will get picked up when we get back out and about. So I feel very, very fortunate for that, and it's wonderful to spend so much condensed time with one another. Although there's been a few times when I've had to go out for a little drive or a walk on my own. I'm sure a lot of mums will relate to that. But all in all, I feel really good, and I feel very fortunate. It's a very sad time for a lot of people, and a lot of people are really struggling. So I'm just trying to, I'm not trying to. It just makes you really realize and feel fortunate for all the things that I have in my life, and finding ways to kind of give back to small businesses and charities has been a focus of mine over the last few weeks. And so I've been reading a ton. I've been working out with you on your app pretty much every morning, which has been fantastic. I was determined that if I'm going to be eating a lot, which I have been eating and snacking like no one's business, then I have to balance it out with a workout every day. So that's been good. I've probably been getting more workouts than normal. And so I made Jason and I made our garage into a kind of at-home gym, because I normally come to the studio to see you. And so for me, people ask me about self-care a lot, and I always say exercise is my self-care.
Yeah.
The makeup, the beauty products, that's all wonderful, and I'm the biggest advocate for a skincare product or a beautiful blush, but ultimately I think self-care starts from within. And so for me, I find I get a lot of confidence, I get a clear head when I come and I work out in the gym, and I spend an hour focused on my strength, my physicality, and it clears the mind. So sometimes I can come in. I mean, most mornings, me, I'm dragging myself in. I think as I've gotten older, it's become less easy to get to the gym than it used to be. I definitely have to push myself, but I never regret working out. And you've seen me go through my pregnancy and the long ride I had after that to get back into a good place. So, yeah.
I have to say, I am inspired by you, because whenever you do come, you always bring your A game, even though you don't necessarily feel like it, but you do. It's the hardest part is trying to motivate clients. But if they're not willing to do it, or they don't see the benefits, then it's a struggle. But you see that and feel that, and exercise is that therapy.
Yeah, and you know what? Sometimes it takes a moment to find motivation through working out, and I can really attest to that, because after I had my son and getting to the gym and feeling crap and not feeling in shape, it took me a real moment to find the motivation again, and so I always just try and encourage people to persevere, but it's I'm not going to sit here and preach at all, I'm sure. Sort of thing, so
All right, next question. What have you discovered about yourself during this time of stillness?
Well, truthfully, I think I've realized how, well, there's a few things. I mean, things I guess I probably realized already, but actually being forced to kind of be at home has made me realize how much I thrive on routine. I do love a routine. For most of my adult life, my whole kind of schedule, routine, and day-to-day life is really, really different. I've been on and off. I get on and off a plane on a regular basis, and so, you know, just kind of being grounded and centered and at home and having a routine, a day-to-day routine, and connecting with my family, how important that is. And although I'm excited to get back to work and get back out there, I'm kind of hoping to retain a little bit of the stillness that this time has created for us all. So that's definitely one thing. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's been great to spend a lot of time reading and reconnecting with books and picking up books that I wanted to read and finding the time for that. And I think one of the things as well that I've really realized is how when everybody else is still, I'm quite happy to remain still. And I think that sort of started me thinking about, you know, how I want to go back to work and what's really important. So yeah.
I can definitely relate to that, and I think we've talked about it before because you know, Mark is in between here and the UK, so I've spent a lot of my life on a plane flying back and forward, and it just got to a point where it's just madness because you're never present in one place because you're just, you know, and you're saying yes to everything, and life is just one crazy roller coaster. So I think definitely a positive to come out of this is to it actually feels good to be still, and you know, how do I keep this moving forward? But you know, I'm desperate for the world to go back to normal as well. But I think I totally can agree with you on that one. It's just trying to find snippets of that stillness and keep it with us.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's important for me to stop and question where my drive and ambition comes from, and you know, at the core of it, you know, what is the reason for saying yes to that job, or for saying yes to that event, or saying yes to that social, you know, gathering, or whatever it is, and just kind of making sure, trying to reconnect with the reasons and making sure that they're really honest, they're really authentic, and that there's, you know, a big picture there, and build, you know, if it's a work thing, making sure that, you know, you're really kind of building towards something rather than just saying yes for any old reason. So it's definitely interesting. I think the other thing I've really discovered is how much I really crave to be in nature, and having lived in LA now for over 9 years, and growing up as in the countryside, it's definitely started to make me feel like I really want to have, you know, true nature in my life a bit more, and certainly for my son. So yeah, Jason and I have been talking a lot about that.
Back to farm life.
Maybe.
All right, what do your health and wellness routine look like right now?
Well, as I mentioned, I've definitely been indulging at home, and we've been having ice cream and puddings, and it was my birthday 2 weeks ago, so nobody was able to normally I get a lot of flowers from all my loved ones and friends, and I think like a lot of flower shops are closed right now, so there was a ton of cake, lots of cake sent over, and so we're indulging. And so for me, I think this week I've kind of said, right, you know, time to rein back a little bit. I'm a big believer in intermittent fasting. I found that that's a really great way for me to, you know, for a lot of reasons, keeping my body in a way that I feel comfortable and happy, and also making sure, you know, for health reasons. I really find like I get a lot more energy when I do intermittent fasting. And so I've kind of gone back on that this week. So I'm you know, eating my meals in an 8 or 10 hour window. when I'm awake, and then drinking a ton of water. I've always drank a lot of water, but actually being at home, you can really kind of gauge how much you're drinking every day. And then working out with you. I've been cooking a lot, which has been really nice. Kind of going to the supermarket and picking out groceries and cooking for Jack and Jason a lot. So that's been really lovely. But yeah, this week I'm definitely trying to cut the sugar out and things like that, the sugar and the gluten. So I think we in LA, there's potential that we might, you know, the quarantine might lift in May 15th. So I'm
I saw what this morning.
Determined to feel good when we get back to that.
Yeah, I think the UK is a little bit sooner than us. I'm like, why?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think this morning, I think it said that to May 5th. May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Anyway, a quite silly joke. All right, what motivates you?
What motivates me? I mean, it's a great question. There's so many different things that motivate me. I'm a very goal-orientated person, and I really believe in creative visualization. It's something that I kind of always had. It just was always natural to me to sort of dream and believe and see where I want to be in my personal life, in my work life. And then I read a book about creative visualization a few years ago and actually saw it was a termed thing. And so that's something I really, really believe in. So if you have a dream or you have something in mind, or you want to reach a goal, you truly have to like visualize it, meditate on it, believe it, see yourself there, almost see how your entire day would run in that way, and allow yourself to dream. And so I've always, whenever I'm with my friends or we're talking, and I don't like to come off too preachy, but I definitely always encourage people to dream and to see yourself in that position and to believe that you can be there, whether it's in a relationship, whether it's getting a new job, whatever it might be. It can be small or big, but you have to believe that you deserve to be there first. And so I know that was quite your question, but what motivates me now, I think, is different than what it was 10 years ago. I'm a mother now, so creating a wonderful life for my son, and you truly realize, I'm sure you do as well, that whatever you are, they absorb. I mean, they're just little sponges, and so you really start to take a look at your life. And as Jack grows up, I want him to look and to be proud and to understand, and so that really motivates me a lot, I think.
I agree. I think prior to having Oscar, it was always like, I want to have a business. I want to, be able to reach as many people as possible through my studios, through online. And then having him, it's like, I just want to provide the best life for him. That's just honestly my motivation and focus now. I mean, work is important, of course, and you have to do it so that you can be able to provide for them. But yeah, I think it's just providing them with the opportunities that maybe we didn't have as children.
Yeah.
Talking about creative visualization, my mum was a bit of a hippie, so I grew up with that as a child, like from a young age of like 4 or 5, and we would, I'd have a ballet exam, and the night before I'd visualize, she'd talk me through it, to see myself doing it perfectly from beginning to end, and the power of that I've used throughout my adult life, and that's something that I really want to teach Oscar as well, because, and that comes back, we've talked about this before. The thing that we love about the US is, their positive attitudes. Like, of course you can do it. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I think that's, one thing that creative visualization, and, put those together and teach our son. Yeah. All right. So what advice would you give to your 20-year-old self?
you know, it's this, I think you hear it time and time again. You know, when someone gets asked this question, it's usually the first response, but it probably would really be what I would tell my younger self is that everything's going to work out. And I'm going to quote Kris Jenner here because I love this quote so much, and I would say it's applied to me mostly throughout my career, is if somebody says no, you're talking to the wrong person. And so as someone that dealt with quite a lot of rejection early on in my career, I don't know, I just never really listened to it. You know, it was like, okay, well, that's your opinion, and that's great, but I believe I can get there, and you're obviously not the person to make it happen. And so it's definitely, you know, there was a lot of naivety, you know, from me in my younger years, and you know, I think there's that determination that comes from having never really been knocked down, and you know, I was fortunate to have a very pleasant childhood, and you know, parents that believed in me and were supportive. And so, you know, perhaps I was naive in that way, but it served me. I truly believe if you know, it goes back to what I was saying earlier, when you believe in yourself, that's the most compelling thing to people, and that's what attracts people towards you. Mm-hmm. And so I put that down to, you know, a little bit of what we were talking about earlier as well.
Yeah. Right. What does success look like to you?
Success is another really big question. For me, success starts with acceptance of yourself and loving yourself. And I know, again, that's kind of frou-frou and hippie, but ultimately, at the end of the day, I think that is truly a successful life, when you love yourself and you're happy with yourself, and you go to bed and put your head on the pillow at night and you feel accomplished and happy and calm from your day, from your purpose. You know, as a 33-year-old, I truly believe that loving yourself is not something that you feel all the time. You know, how your journey and your relationship with yourself is ebbs and flows. You have good periods, you have periods where that are not so good, and you know, you're constantly evolving this journey with yourself, with other people, but certainly with yourself, it's constantly evolving and shifting and changing, and life throws curveballs, and things happen and circumstances change. But I think if that is, for me, that being the ultimate goal for success and driving towards that, is definitely what I try and do. But I don't necessarily have the answers. So just because I say it doesn't mean it's necessarily true. Like I said, it's a journey, right? So no one's perfect.
Yeah. And that is, I guess, the biggest challenge in life is you know, self-love and self-acceptance. I think we'll do that to our dying day, is struggle with that. So, all right, last question, and it's just a silly one. If you could invite 3 to 5 people to the dinner party, living or dead, who would they be and why?
Ooh, that's a fabulous question. Okay, I would start with Louis Theroux. So if anyone's British, they'll understand who he is, but I've always loved his documentaries and found him to just be so interesting and with a great sense of humor, and I've just always thought I'd love to sit next to him at a dinner party. Just such a great guy to talk to. Elizabeth Taylor, again, I just think she's sort of an iconic woman to me through her look and her life, and I just think, again, she just seemed like a very interesting, vivacious woman, incredibly talented. She had a lot of kind of complexities too, but just a fabulous dinner party guest. I think she'd be, and I'd love to see what she'd wear. I would, this is a really, really tough question. Who else would I have? I think I'd have Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, who I read her book, We Should All Be Feminists, quite a few years ago. Always found her to be a really interesting woman and would love to pick her brains more about everything that she's learned and everything that she believes in. So she would be a great woman to be sat next to. Ed Ruscha, who's one of my favorite artists. I think would just love to know where he gets his inspiration from, and love to see if he could give me a discount on his work.
Just heavy pour on the wine.
Oh, these are such good questions. I could go on. I could have a huge dinner party. And then I guess I'd better say Jason. That would be kind of rude not to have a dinner party without him.
Yeah, he'd better be there.
So he'd better be there too. And I think he would enjoy all those people as well.
Yeah. That sounds like fun. Save a seat for me at the table.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, that's the end of our questions. And now we get to the 7-minute workout. So, I mean, I think that the service has been okay. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if there's been any comments, but I think you turned the
I turned them off so they wouldn't cover your beautiful face. So I guess we just try, and you know, if it doesn't happen, I'll say goodbye to you now. But we're going to do, so it's a 7-minute workout. So it's 7 exercises for 60 seconds each.
Okay.
And we can use our weights, or we can use any household items, but just something to share with people at home that you can work out anywhere, anytime. No excuses.
Okay. I love that this is my 7-minute workout for the day.
Yeah.
I'm so sore. I'm so sore on my hamstrings this morning. I woke up and got out of bed and was like, so I'm moving like an old lady.
What have you chosen? Are you going to use weights? Or are you going to use?
Well, I could use my weights, which I've been sat on, but I feel like it might be more fun if I use. I'm going to go into my fridge. Hang on.
Okay. Use your
I'm going to use, because there's no excuses, I'm going to use, for those people who might not have weights in their houses, I'm going to use these 2 oat milk cartons.
That's perfect. And they're actually quite heavy.
At least it's going to make people laugh and be kind of funny. I don't know how much these weigh, but they must be a couple pounds each. Pound or 2.
They're actually, Mark and I did a workout with water bottles on the weekend, and it was like, that's actually quite challenging. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got the easy, I've got just 5-pound weights, but the oat is definitely something fun and catch. So let's start off. We're going to be in our little reverse lunge. So you're going to come down. So we're going to work the quad, the hamstring, and the glute. And while we're here, we're going to do a compound exercise. So we're going to do an overhead press at the same time. So I don't know how you're going to struggle. Maybe like that? Yeah, perfect. All right, so let's start the timer, and we go now. So 60 seconds. 1, bring it down. 2. Good. Working that quad, that hamstring, and that glute on both legs, and obviously getting chest and shoulders as well. Feel okay with your oat milk? Are you going to make me a latte afterwards? Good. 20 more seconds.
Oh, it's starting to burn.
I know. Good. 6 more seconds. Good. All right, let's change legs so we're not lopsided. So swap to the other leg into a deep reverse lunge, making sure your knees are going over your ankles, and we lift up and down. A nice big W sign, navel to spine. Woo. I haven't tried oat milk yet. Do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah.
I can't talk. My legs are burning too much.
Burning. 25 more seconds. Woo. Woo. 16 more seconds. Whew, nearly there. And rest. Good. Shake it out. 2 minutes down. 5 to go.
Okay.
All right, you're going to do a little lateral lunge. Once again, I know it might be a little awkward, but you're just going to hold them down and then step together. And down and up. Squeeze. Yeah. Good. So this is a great multitasking exercise because you're working the outer thigh, the inner thigh, the quad, the hamstring, and the glute. So it's a good one for us busy mummies.
Or you can turn them around and hold them on the top.
Okay. As long as they don't burst open.
Oh my gosh.
Nearly there. Got 13 more seconds. Good job. Shake it out. We have to do the other leg. Woo. And big step out. 1. I did this the other day with wine bottles or tequila bottles. Woo! How are your legs feeling?
Pretty good. They're burning.
26 more seconds. Big step out. I hope everybody's doing this with us at home. We're not just watching us on the couch eating popcorn. Good. Shake it out. 3 more minutes. Let's do a nice externally rotated. And we're just going to keep them where they are. And you want to go down and bounce and up. So deep sumo squat and up. Yeah. And they go down. Down. Squeeze the glutes at the top of your range. Whew. If you do this 7-minute circuit 7 times, it's quite effective.
Woo!
12 more seconds. Good. And rest. Good. Let's just walk our feet together. Last 2 exercises. I don't know how challenging it will be with the oat milk, but you're just going to do a frontal raise up and down.
Now they're getting wet. It's the condensation.
Condensation? I hope that they don't slip out of your hands. There you go. Good. Making sure that core's activated, working our shoulders and chest. And relax our necks. Fourteen more seconds. Last one. Good, and roll shoulders. And then slippery. And last thing, we're just going to finish up with some bicep curls. Good, soften those knees and just curl all the way up and down. 2, 3. You're frothing the milk, it's ready for coffee.
I was just thinking, first thing I'm going to do is make a matcha latte.
Yeah.
When we finish this live, the most LA thing about me.
11 more seconds, we're nearly there. And 3, 2, and 1. Last one. We did it! Hooray! Thank you so much for being such a wonderful sport.
I love you, Sim, so much.
I love you too. Thank you so much.
Take care, and I'll
Have
see
a great
you.
day. Bye, honey. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.